So welcome to the Social Services Maven, where I teach aspiring social workers and caseworkers how to get started in the human services field. I build this around best practices, industry, and current events. So, as I've said in my previous videos, I'm in the Bay Area. I'm in the epicenter of homelessness. I have worked in Los Angeles County and in the Bay Area consecutively for 8 years. And I am currently in the middle management of affordable housing. I've been doing that for the past 5 years. And so the winter is coming. Like, it is the final season of Game of Thrones, and the unliving are right there at the snowbanks, and they're about to cross over, right? So, October the 1st, that rent has to be paid. You have had, as citizens, the past 15 months to get your back rent paid under SB 191, which is State of California federal money to pay rent, to postpone evictions. You in San Francisco have had SF rent relief. Those in Oakland, East Bay have rent relief options. If you did not create a declaration of hardship, it's an automatic, you will be evicted. So, you're like, this is negative, this is fucked up, you cannot do this to people. People have died of COVID. You can be reimbursed for funeral expenses of COVID. You need to go online and Google that up. The government is paying under the CARES Act for people who lost individuals to COVID. You can get those funeral expenses paid for and reimbursed from the U.S. government. But what I am here to talk about are those of us who are caseworkers, social workers in the industry. We have not had a break. We ain't been off. We've been essentialing. We've been essential workers, and we are tired. And the games have not even begun yet. That's one. Secondly, we're about to have an influx of new people entering into the industry out of two things. Out of one, they have decided that they want to help other people. This is the field they want to be in. This is what they want to give their life to. Very honorable, very great. And then you have those who are going to have survival jobs, who need to make money because they have closed down the restaurant that they worked at. But because they have strong customer services skills, they know how to talk to people, they might know how to complete paperwork, they're going to be hired. In my experience, those are not always the best people who have long-term experience in restaurants and retail. I worked in retail for a very long time before I went into social services. And trust and believe, it's not always a transferable skill. It definitely takes a lot of learning and unlearning to get there. So with that, there's going to be a couple of things happening from the industry side. People are not going to be getting trained efficiently. It's going to be, my nonprofit has gotten $1.5 million to do transitional housing with Project Home Key, to put people in these hotels or take them out of these hotels, to put them in permanent supportive housing or into Section 8. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have any business framework about that. And we're going to offer case management and housing support, social workers for them. Those people are not going to know what the hell they're doing, because public supportive housing is kind of not the best here in California. It's not the best here. They house and they feel like that's the solution. They don't build the essential activities of life, ADLs, for people to learn the skills, to keep a clean unit, to deal with their mental health as you are no longer dealing with the stressors of survival skills of being on the streets. And that takes creativity. That takes very strong social workers and caseworkers who are able to ride it out. And the words that are used sometimes from the higher ups is that this is above people's pay scale for what you're asking them to do. And it's like, well, then increase the damn pay scale and increase the training. And we could definitely do what we need to do as individuals to keep other people housed. So I'm saying all that to say is, the shit has landed. Like, it has landed. It is here. I said this a year ago that it's about to be on and popping. The amount of homelessness that I am seeing in the Bay Area that has transitioned from the beginning of COVID to now is astonishing. So here are some laws and some policies that are impacting that. And you're going to be like, what the heck? So in the state of California, some of you who might be watching this who are in California who might work at CPS, a family will not lose their children if they are living in a car. Because under the policy is that they have protection over their head. It is only when they are living in tents, in encampments, or in parks that CPS will step in and put them in a family navigation spot or a housing first supportive service provider. So I'll say two things to that. One, to the person who might be experiencing homelessness with their children, or they are pregnant. I want you, when you go into a drop-in center, to be clear that you say you do not have a car, that you are not living in any type of shelter, that you slept under a bench yesterday, so that you can get the services that you need for you and your children. They cannot check you. They cannot tell you that you are lying or not, because it's atrocious. Second, as the caseworker, we can create the narrative to get them access to services. There are so many programs that are not marketed to people who are experiencing situations. They are not marketed in the correct language of the population in which they are there to support. And that is all strategy. That is the government's way of saying, we are offering, no one took it, we're going to pull it. So you, as a caseworker, have got to set time in your day to look for opportunities for your caseload that will benefit them. It gets them off of your caseload. You don't have a long-standing caseload and you have somebody that's experiencing homelessness for 6 months and you're saying, oh, they don't want to participate. Sometimes they don't want to participate, but also the barriers that they have experienced is traumatizing, and it's re-traumatizing to them to say to someone that has been homeless for a year or two, that might have been beat on the streets, might have been robbed or raped, to say, give me 30 days, I'm going to get you housed, and it doesn't happen because it has happened to them before. They have been disappointed by the system. That's why they're in the position that they're in. So what you want to know is what you know is already out there in the industry, what's already being provided. Find out, call, become a cold caller. That is the best thing I learned from working in retail. That was my strongest transferable skill, that I had to cold call to get sales when I worked at Nordstrom. I am proficient in it. I have no problem with saying, who is the program director of this? And they will call you back. Program analysts will call you back, and they will give you other points of contacts, and they will tell you how to position either your client or your application for it to be seen and to get done. Do the work. That is part of your job. That helps people. You will be a defining factor in a generation of people's lives. You have to look at it. When people are housed, when individuals are getting mental health treatment, you are breaking generational curses. You are stepping in and you are being a spiritual ally for them. Even if you're being paid for it, even if you're going to work, you're clocking in, clocking out, dealing with the bureaucracy of a job, you are definitely helping people. So when you keep that in your mind, that this is not what your boss told you to do, it's what you are choosing to do, you are going to always be compensated in a deeper, more profound way than money. You're going to be respected. You're going to be looked to. And that is always how you want to lead as a caseworker and as a social worker. Number 3, another program that's out here in California that I am seeing they are beginning to do a little bit more is RVs. So I might have said this before, I might not have explained it well, is that they are giving a lot of money to RVs for that people. It's a form of housing now. Transitional housing, long-term housing. It's this funky ass, elitist, tiny homes movement that has now trickled into the bottom of the pyramid, and they're giving people RVs to raise their families in. I think it's disturbing. I like tiny homes. I think they're cute, but I would not want to raise my children there at all. And they're riding around. Kids at a certain point, and this is psychologically proven, have to be stable. They have to have a nest and whatever. But that is going to be a population of people now. How are they accessing services? Because, right, somebody's getting Social Security in there. Someone is probably on general relief. They're Medi-Cal, Medicare. and they might be getting CalFresh. How do you keep them? How do you keep them in services? How do you help them go and do their recertifications for Medi-Cal and Medicare? And I could be wrong. Because I don't really know in terms of working with it, because it's so new. How are they getting their mail? Where is a social worker at for the family when there might be an incident of abuse? There might be a gap of illness, and the parent has a stroke in the RV, and the kids can't drive it to get help. Like, these are the things I think about. Maybe it's that social worker brain. When you're a social worker at a point in time, your brain is kind of crazy. But these are the things that you, as case workers who are entering in or who are there, you have to begin to think about. Like, what programming elements do we have? What programming dynamics do we have that we can reach? So find your niche. Niche down when you're looking for a job, or if you're building a program, niche down. Who are these people we're talking to? What is their population? Where are their demographic? What are some of their habits? You have to get scientific on that end, because then you'll learn how to market. So when the RV breaks down, who are they going to get the RV fixed? What does the state have in place for low-income RV owners to get their RVs fixed when they break down? What are their towing options? Is it under Medi-Cal? Is it under Section 8? Like, how do they get supported for mobile homes with wheels on it that you then gave to them? So when I said it's the winter is coming. And this winter is going to span for 20 years. 20 years max. Or minimum. 20 years. We have not seen the effects of COVID. We have not seen the kids who have been at home for a year and a half, and the only protection that they had was that schoolhouse was removed from them. The amount of trauma that has happened, we have not seen it yet. It's going to definitely begin to unfold in probably quarter two of 2022. And us as social workers, y'all need to use your PTO for the rest of this year. You need to go on vacation. And those of you who have graduated, you need to start looking for a job, because you are so needed. You are so needed right now. I have come to an agreement that it's going to be a shit show. I have. And it's not that I'm negative. It's just that I started in the recession. I know what it looks like. I've never seen this before. But I will say it's an opportunity of creativity to step in. Because money is like this right now in services. It's just being tapped out to any and whoever. And it takes 3 years for you to get a nonprofit. So the nonprofits that have been established are going to become financial monsters. And because there's no best practices, no precedent has been set, they're going to be BSing off money. And you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know the populations that you're serving so you can counteract that, and that money can be spent wisely. So as always, I'm the social services maven. You need it. You need it times 10 right now. And I hope that I can help you by having real conversations to get into the game of social services and really help be impactful through policy, direct services, managing people, so that we can help those that are not always able to help themselves. Bye-bye.